Next, we have Brian Turner, who will be speaking to us about diet, gut health, veganism, and acne. So Brian Turner is a certified vegan bodybuilder, a skin positivity activist, a YouTube influencer, author, and podcast host. So Brian will be speaking about gut health and veganism. Take it away, Brian.
Okay, so first we'll talk about gut health, which has a huge factor playing into your acne itself. A lot of people don't know about gut health. And then I'll talk about veganism and how that's kind of played into my acne as well. So with gut health, there's actually something that has been kind of talked about in the medical community, but recently it's actually been recognized as a real thing. So that's called leaky gut syndrome. You might have heard of this a few times in the comment section on YouTube videos and stuff, but they've done a lot of studies on this recently. And I've dived really deep into this in the last probably about a month or two. So I want to share this with you because it's super interesting and something that most people don't think about when it comes to their actual acne breakouts. Leaky gut syndrome is basically your gut is your intestines, right? So that's what your food passes through. And the way that it works is there's things called tight junctions. Basically, your gut absorbs food and whatnot. But if you have leaky gut, it means that your intestine lining is starting to become a bit loose. And because it's becoming loose, it's allowing things that shouldn't be getting out of the gut into your bloodstream. So things like bacteria and toxins are able to pass through the gut into your bloodstream, and that causes inflammation. And also because your body can't handle that much toxicity at once, for a lot of people, it results in acne. So some of the symptoms that leaky gut syndrome present are bloating, food sensitivity, fatigue, digestive issues, and the one, of course, that we're worried about, the one that we care about, is acne. Now, this topic could be expanded for like hours, but like kind of just like the quick tips of it is if you have food allergies, such as like gluten or dairy, there's a lot of other food sensitivities that people have that can contribute to your leaky gut syndrome, but also foods that cause inflammation for everybody, regardless of your allergies. So that would be things like artificial sweeteners, preservatives, artificial coloring, alcohol. All that stuff is inflammatory to your gut. And when your gut gets inflamed, that's what causes bloating. And the problem is a lot of us can handle a certain amount of it, but if you are continuously inflaming your gut, it can lead to this syndrome called leaky gut syndrome. So I didn't know about this. I was having a gallon of milk a day. I'm serious. I was having a box of Splenda a week, which is 124 servings of Splenda. I know. You don't need to tell me. It's ridiculous. And I was fully bloated all the time. Like I would have like this hard belly and I was trying to like gain muscle and stuff. So that's why I was having so much milk. But those things are things that I didn't react to very well. And what I found over time is that the leaky gut syndrome was a huge cause of my acne. In your gut, you have good bacteria and bad bacteria. And when you have, it's something called dysbiosis. When you have more bad bacteria than good bacteria, it can cause this syndrome. And it's also just generally not good for you. So we always want to make sure that we are doing things to increase the amount of good bacteria that we have and decrease the amount of bad bacteria that we have. So quickly, two things that you can do is eat probiotic foods. So these are foods that have living bacteria in them. These are things that are pickled or fermented. So things like kimchi or sauerkraut, or you probably have heard of like kombucha, even things like literally like pickles. They have good bacteria that live on them. When you eat them, that good bacteria gets into your gut and then it increases the amount of gut flora that you have, good bacteria that you have in there. Also, you can have prebiotic fibers. So this is basically just like fiber that you find in any plant-based food. So when you're having vegetables or fruit, when you're having oats or potatoes, all that has fiber in it. And that fiber, what it does is when it goes into your body, it actually ferments in your gut. And when it ferments, it actually adds to those good bacteria, that probiotics that are inside of your gut. So by increasing the amount of vegetables that you eat, you can actually improve your leaky gut syndrome or just in general your gut health, but also by removing some of those bad things like dairy and sugar and artificial sweeteners, alcohol, all that kind of stuff. If you kind of do those two things, you'll see a huge improvement, not only in like your digestion and your bloating, but also at least if you are suffering from acne that's caused by gut health, it can improve your acne. So that's something that helped me a ton. And I just kind of want to quickly share that with you guys. Also, I have an ebook that I literally just wrote and I made it free just because I wanted to share more about this. So if this topic is interesting to you, I only like touched the tip of it. You guys can check that out. Maybe I'll put it in the chat, but it's just my YouTube channel. It's teamacneebook.com and it's completely free. You just put your email in and I'll send it over to you guys. So now I just want to quickly go over my experience with veganism and acne. It's something they wanted me to talk about and I thought it was kind of an interesting thing. So I originally went vegan about 5 years ago. And the reason that I went vegan is because at the time, my dermatologist couldn't figure out how to get rid rid of my acne. And he was like, I can't tell you what to do with your diet because I'm not a dietitian. And he was like, some of the people who I work with have taken out protein powders and have seen an improvement in their acne. So I immediately took out whey protein powder and casein protein powder as well as protein bars. And I saw a bit of an improvement in my acne. And then I was like, well, what about if I just take all dairy sources out? I feel like that made sense to me. And from there, I saw a huge improvement in my acne. I think for me personally, dairy was my number one cause of acne. And for me, I had cystic acne, and that's one of the most common types of acne that dairy causes. So since I saw that improvement, I was like, what else can I do? If dairy improved my acne, what if I take out meat? And so I just kind of got interested in veganism that way. And once I did that, I saw a huge improvement in my acne in terms of new breakouts. Just recently, I think it was about 2 years ago, there was a scientific study called Dietary Intervention in Acne. And it was really interesting because they found a few factors that just definitively with everybody can cause an increase of acne. So some of the things, this is like something that you should definitely like think about and like keep in mind, is the science in that study showed that dairy, meat, high sugar, and high fat foods all cause acne. They increase something in your body called mTORC1, which then increases the amount of sebum oil or face oil that your skin produces, and that leads to more acne. So by reducing some of those foods, you can actually see a huge improvement in your acne. That's something that ever since I saw that science and that study, I was like, I've got to change up the way I do my diet. So along with that, veganism increased the amount of vegetables that I was eating just because I was eating more whole foods and I was learning how to cook more. And so when I started eating more vegetables, my bloating started going away. Like I was saying earlier, literally I was bloated all the time. Like every day I would go to bed, like it literally felt like I was like pregnant. Like I couldn't go left or right. It was crazy. So when I started putting more vegetables in and reducing and then eliminating eventually all the dairy that I was eating, my bloating and my digestion just like improved massively. And then if you like go around on like my videos or just some other acne videos, you'll see a lot of people said that when they went vegan, they saw an improvement in their acne. And I think, again, that has a lot to do with the improvement in gut health and then the reduction in foods that are, people have food allergies. Like a lot of people are allergic to dairy, but they continue eating it because it's in everything. But I do want to mention that I just wanted to kind of review why I'm vegan and like why I went vegan and what impact it had on my acne. I don't think that, it's the end all be all. So a lot of people will go vegan and be like, it didn't fix my acne. And acne is so multi-factored. There are so many reasons and causes of acne. And it's something that you really have to like look at yourself and really figure out specifically for yourself what causes your acne. And veganism, again, is just addressing one or two or three of those factors, but there's more than 30 factors. There's so many factors. So that's just a small little glimpse into what has helped my acne and why I'm vegan and why it's something that for me, I'm not going to ever go away with because it's improved my acne so much. But if you guys want to check out my ebook, teamacneebook.com, you're going to love it. It's really good. And I'll give it back to Daisy now.
Great. Thank you so much, Brian, for sharing. And I agree. I've heard from some that veganism does help their acne, and from others, it hasn't really made a difference. So I think the important thing is trying to figure out what works for you. And unfortunately, there's not a one blanket solution, size fits all, that will cure anyone's skin.